Taking a look at the West Tigers, well, on the face of it, it was a season just like those that had come before it, with the Tigers anchored to the bottom of the table, but it does feel different. A few more green shoots, a bit more positivity around the side as Benji Marshall tries to build this side from a long, long way back. It definitely feels like they are closer, and this is a super important period for them as we look at the top 5 targets that might be able to carry the Tigers from the bottom 4 to potentially knocking on the door of some finals football. West Tigers haven't played finals in a decade. They've won wooden spoon after wooden spoon in recent times, but it just feels a little bit different, like maybe they've crawled through the worst of that storm and that they are starting to head in the right direction. Benji Marshall looks like he's got them playing a style of football that is repeatable and sustainable, and if they can limit the mistakes, then there might be a road forward for them. They certainly wouldn't be I think favourite for the wooden spoon this time around. It looks like they've got enough talent to avoid that, but they certainly need to add to that if they are to do what the likes of the Bulldogs and the Warriors have done in recent years and bounce immediately up the ladder and be the surprise packets of the competition. So we'll take a look at 5 potential signing targets for the West Tigers for 2026 and beyond. Option 1, Christian Welch from the Melbourne Storm. They certainly need to replace the experience of David Klemmer in the middle of the park, and they could do far worse than this option. Christian Welch coming from a club that's basically had success running through their DNA over recent times. So what he could teach them and the learnings that he has had at the business end of seasons could be absolutely crucial, plus the influence he would have on the park as well. It seems a logical thing for the West Tigers to surround themselves with some players that have previously surrounded themselves with success. Option 2, Tyson Frizzell, another player closer to the end of his career than the start, but a very, very important player to the Knights, and his experience would be telling. Tried his hand in the middle of the park, but it's outskirting on the edges where he has found his home for the majority of his career. And similar to our previous option, he's a guy that could also impact on the field, not just in terms of his leadership. He would straight away make them a better side, but would also make those around him better players as well. Option 3, Katoni Staggs from the Brisbane Broncos. We've mentioned Selwyn Cobbo, another one here that could potentially get squeezed out. You think one of those players probably departs the Broncos with their salary cap pressures at the moment. And we've spoken a little bit about guys that can play forward, but looking towards the other end of the system within this lineup, certainly a player that could come in, and it's exactly what this period is actually all about, where you get the opportunity to pounce on a player that has been squeezed out through no fault of their own at another club, and you can seize on that opportunity given the cash reserves that they've got up their sleeve. So they could do far worse than make that call. Option 4, Raymond Fatala Mariner of the Dragons. Back row depth certainly an issue for the West Tigers as well as a number of the other areas on the park for them. And this does look like an opportunity for them to bolster with a gettable target that would be not necessarily beyond their means, even if they were to land a couple of the other options that we've mentioned above. So bouncing to different areas of the park, if they can just add a piece of the puzzle in each of those, improved by a couple of wins a season, then they can get themselves believing that they are on the right track. Option 5, Cameron McInnes. A bit of a theme of our options has been standard setters, players that could come in and really guide the way for other clubs. There are a few better in the entire competition than McInnes in his role through his lock forward play at the Sharks, but also the example that he sets for teammates around him. So that is the common theme. Players that can be quality on field, but also help accelerate the depth and development of those around them. And it feels like Benji Marshall would be looking down that path very clearly. West Tigers, no doubt they're getting better. Are they getting better fast enough to satisfy their fans? We'll obviously find out over the journey as it extends from here. There are our 5 targets. There are probably a lot more than that. And where can the Tigers land over the next couple of years? You do sense that they've left the worst of it behind them, but how far can they go? Let us know in the comments if you disagree with those options, and throw a few more our way. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out all the latest news at zerotackle.com.